Hello, family history writers, and welcome back to Storylines. We're just a couple weeks away from February 1st, and that means the beginning of the Family History Writing Challenge. So I thought I'd take today to talk about prepping for the challenge. So today I'm going to give you a little bit of a prep checklist. And now you might find everything on this checklist to be quite helpful, but for some of you, you may already have some of these things already checked off. That's great. Just start the checklist wherever is pertinent to where you are in your writing journey and preparing for the Family History Writing Challenge. Now, first and foremost, you want to make sure that you have your story idea down. You've chosen your ancestor that you wish to write about, and you've gathered your research. You've reviewed that research to make sure that you do have a substantial amount of research and to be able to tell a story. It takes quite a bit of research to tell a family history story. You can't write a story without it. So if you don't have that ready and prepped before we begin writing, you're going to find it very difficult to write, and you're going to waste a lot of time looking for things. So you want to gather all that research together and put it somewhere where it's going to be within hand's reach. So that might be all digital. Maybe you scan it all, put it into a couple of computer files that you can easily access. Or feel free, print it all off, put it in a box that you can put beside your desk. Whichever you choose does not matter. The point here is that you have it easily available to you while you are writing, so you're not wasting your time looking for your research. We don't want to do this, that's for sure. Our time is very valuable, and putting our butts in the chair and sitting down to write is hard to do. And if you're going to waste it looking for your research, well, it's just not the most effective use of your time. Also, next, we want to start a character development. We need to have a good understanding of our ancestors and the supporting characters in our story. So we want to take some time up front to do some character sketches so that we understand just what our ancestor not just looked like physically, but also what things were important to them. We want to come up with some positive and negative traits about our ancestor. How did their childhood shape them as adults? Their decision-making in the present story. If we want our readers to connect with our ancestors emotionally, and that's what we want to do in order to have a great story, that comes through character development. Showing your reader that your ancestor was real with strengths and flaws, and then they will be able to relate to them. Next on our checklist is outlining our story. If we want our story to read like a novel, then we need a plot line. We need to understand what are the various key scenes that make up a story, like the inciting incident and the climax of the story. How are you going to open your story? That hook that you're going to use to engage your reader. How are we going to arrange the story in such a way that it keeps the reader engaged, provides tension and conflict? This is what a story is all about. So if you want to turn your family history into an engaging and entertaining story, then you need to have some sort of a plot line to make this happen. Now, if you don't have the time to create a plot before February 1st, at the very least, create a scene list. A list of all the possible scenes that you want to write about. Brainstorm out that list. And you can even go so far as doing a scribble draft for each scene. Now, scribble draft is just a simple little bullet point of the key actions that are going to take place in your scene. That way, when you sit down to write in February, you have something to start with. You're not starting from a blank page or a blank screen, or even worse, a blank mind. Now, some of you may be writing profiles and not a story. The difference here is that a story has a plot. Your ancestor is seeking something, some sort of goal in the story. There's a journey to this goal, and that's what's being told. An ancestor profile does not have a plot. It has more of a focus or a theme. If you're writing profiles, you can still write a scribble draft for them. Bullet point out the key ideas that you want to include about your ancestor in that profile, so that you make sure you get all those key ideas and that they're cohesive and have some sort of focus or theme to it. So if you try to do that before February 1st, you'll set yourself up for success. The next point on our checklist is world building. You need to have a great understanding of your ancestors' world, from the environment, the culture, the government they lived under, transportation, food, housing. When you get into writing your story, you're soon going to realize that you won't know a lot of these details in order to help your reader travel through time and go back and be witness to the events in your ancestors' lives. So this can require a lot of research. So it's best to spend as much time prior to writing to help you set yourself up for success. Next, make sure you're prepared a writing space for yourself, someplace where you can write undisturbed and free of clutter, because a cluttered desk often means a cluttered mind. It's very hard to be present. So take a few minutes over the next few weeks to clean up that office or that space where you're going to be writing, and surround yourselves with the necessary things that you need to write, whether that be your research or your favorite pen or some music. Whatever that might be, take some time up front to make sure you are being purposeful about where you write, so it allows you to be as creative as possible. Lastly, prepare your schedule. Clear your calendar for February, as many other duties and responsibilities will interfere with your writing time or your ability to just be present during your writing time. Lean into your family to help, first by sharing your goals with them, making it clear what you plan to do for February, and ask for their support. But also allowing them to help you with household chores and meals, so that these don't interfere with your writing schedule. Prep some meals ahead of time, put them in the freezer. Do whatever it takes to lighten your load and make some space and time for yourself so that you can be present in your writing for the month of February. And finally, cut yourself some slack. Don't try to do it all, just try to do it better. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just try to improve on last year's writing. Try to add a new habit. Be more prepared. Write 15 minutes longer. Find some small way that you can improve your writing performance. Now, feel free to download this checklist. I've got a little PDF that you can print off and go through. I've got a link below for that. And I've also got a fun little do not disturb sign for you. You can hang on your office door, let everybody know that you're writing. So take some time to prepare yourself for the Family History Writing Challenge. A little bit of preparation could lead to great accomplishments this February. So if you've yet to register, there is a link below this video. And I'll see you back here next week for another edition of Storylines.